Good day, this is a.j.farzad with successwithloa.blogspot.com, and you can see most of my posts and videos on my Facebook page. Hey, good day, this is a.j.farzad with successwithloa.blogspot.com, and today you're going to be coming with me on a walk because we're going to discuss something that is very critical to your success in anything, as well as always dive deeper into the law of attraction. So a while back I was listening to a interview that Howard Stern did with Snoop Dogg, and hence the graphic at the beginning of this video. And one of the things that you would, take a really close look at is, let me go ahead and focus a little bit better on this. There you go. Okay. Is the fact that a lot of things happened to Snoop that if it happened to personally myself or anybody else that was going through it, would have meant a lot of different things and may have led into a completely different person than what we know of. And at the time, it might have been something that you would think is a blessing. And yet, in a hindsight perspective, I want you to keep that in mind, that what perseverance and positive attitude, even at the time where it just meant being scared, naturally brought about the application of the law of attraction. So one of the things that I did not know was that Snoop Dogg was actually a great athlete. In fact, true sports athlete. So, he was good in football, and he actually also excelled at basketball to a point where he could have actually gotten a scholarship to college had it not been for the fact that just prior to graduating, he, by his own words, because of greed, gets arrested for selling drugs and is sent to prison. So obviously no scholarship, no college on that one, right? But the thing that Howard dug into in the interview that many people may not realize is that when he was in prison, he continued with the only thing that he knew, which was music and rap. And he honed his skill under the most negative situations, you would say. So what he was doing was that even though he was in prison, he continuously went back to the art. To him, it was a survival mechanism. So one might think that, hey, he just kind of fell, right into it. But how many people do you know that they get, locked up in prison and they actually practice their art that they were doing outside? It would have very easily have been, hey, you know what, I just basically threw my life down the toilet. I could have gone to college, I could have got out of this. Who knows what would have happened had I not been busted, had I not been greedy and gone to selling the drugs. So you know what, bullshit, this is like a whole world is all against me and I give up, right? But that's not what he did. He honed his rapping skills while he was in prison. The other thing was the loyalty of his friends, where his really good friend was a cousin with Dr. Dre that actually, heard his demo because at one of his parties, Snoop's friend, the cousin of Dr. Dre, actually put the demo tape in. And again, you could say that he just happened to be at the right place at the right time, but he went to prison. And he says that one of the things that he's grateful for is that Dre actually took his call when he was calling him collect from prison, and reassured him that he would be there and would wait for him when he gets out. When he gets into the gangs, Howard asked him, how about, have you shot the gun, etc., etc. He goes, he carried the gun, but he was too scared to actually use it, And that, again, is something that things were working out for his betterment. Because imagine if you had, shot somebody, that would have been the end of it. Selling drugs is completely different than more murdering someone. So he went with the feeling of the fear. So at the time, how we say the law of attraction, you want to go for the feeling that feels a little bit better. In that situation, it's really, really messed up, because here the feeling of the fear was what felt good, because it was a survival instinct. The feeling of the fear kept him from shooting the gun and getting himself into a bigger and bigger problems. So he continued his dream. He continued honing his skill, and he did reach for the feelings that felt better. Even though when we look back at it going, how could fear be a good feeling? Remember, at the time, you don't have to stay in the fear. Do you understand? You don't have to stay at the fear. But at the time, when you are in the midst of gunfire and survival, essentially, that might have been the only thing to do. And he went with it. And magically, over years, and again, we know it's not magic, but it seems like magically over the years, his career took off, and all the skills that he had practiced in prison and gotten better and better and better brought him into a perspective and brought people into his life that helped him become more and more successful. How does that apply to your sales? How does that apply to your training? What does that have to do with the law of attraction? Let's diagnose that. So the skills, I put a previous post that when you are practicing a skill and you think that you are a veteran, you seem to get into a comfort zone, right? And we don't go after the new skills. Or if we are taught to go for new skills, we learn some new skill and we practice it for a couple of days and we go back to what's our comfort zone. So that's not what Snoop did. His comfort zone very easily could have been, I'm just in jail, so I'm just gonna, kick back and do whatever I can just to survive. But he honed his skill and he used his only thing that he had to survive was his rap. So when you're practicing your sales skills, if you have something that is new, try it and test it. What is your test? Your test is getting in front of more and more clients. Your test is getting in front of more and more customers and train them. Your test is practicing the skills that you're learning and going back, going over it and refining them and hone them until you can get better. Law of attraction is not sitting on your butt and visualizing, yeah, I'm going to have a fantastic sales presentation, but then going and doing the best you can, and then if something happens and goes wrong, you come in and you say, oh, it doesn't work. No, it's the process. It's not the destination. It's the process of getting you better and better, because everything that you learn from that sales presentation, for example, all the mistakes that you have done is going to be making you better for better things to come into your life. So that's the moral lesson here. As far as the law of attraction is concerned, again, remember what Abraham Hicks says. It's not the destination. If it was the destination, I love the example that Esther uses, is that you're going to go on vacation from here, San Diego. I'm going to go, for example, to Hawaii and come back. Well, if my destination is back into San Diego, I might as well not go to Hawaii at all. Do you see, the process is not the destination. What's important is actually taking the process, getting yourself better, experiencing, because you get feedbacks. So if I'm in front of the customer and I'm doing a training and things go bad, I don't feel good, right? Right there is my opportunity now to get better by reaching for something that feels a little bit better. Because if I get wrapped up in the negative feedback loop of I'm now doing bad, I'm going to keep on going back and back and back. And not only will my training or my sales presentation suffer at that point, I don't learn anything. I have not become stronger because I gave up into the default. Whereas if something goes wrong, and you know what, I laugh it off. I laugh it off. Remember, when the specific gets you into a bad feeling, you become general. You become general until you can reach for something that feels a little bit better. Okay? You laugh it off. You make a joke out of it. You use it in your process. Hey, you know what? I've been training, and if I can make a mistake, it's okay for you guys to make a mistake as well. We're always here to help you. That kind of a thing. And pretty soon, the first few times, maybe you have to do it on a conscious level, but pretty soon it becomes automatic. So when you stumble, you catch yourself and move on without even having to think about it. That's the law of attraction working its process and making you better and better by incremental stages. I hope this makes sense. I hope you can use this in your sales and trainings, and I hope you can use this in life. Till next time, pure success.